do me a favor, and before even watching this video, if you've never heard of this stock by the name of Rocket Labs, RKLB, Rocket Labs, go look this stock up right now. You are going to see something that is quite shocking. And what you're going to see is that Rocket Labs has gone up 800% in the last year. Now, that is well beyond the S&P 500. That is well beyond the NASDAQ. That is well beyond any major index. And it's basically a 10-bagger. So for investors, they actually just had positive earnings. I just saw news that came out, and they have positive earnings. Now I'm just learning about this stock, and I thought I would cover it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've been invested in this stock and if you've made a lot of money from this stock. I want to hear if you are an investor in Rocket Labs, RKLB. Once again, before proceeding, just go look at the chart. This thing, I think, is up again today, 800%. And I just want you to understand, you know, these are the types of moves that we often see in the stock market when we're talking about your opportunity, right? Because if you were an early investor into Rocket Labs before this run happened, then you would have made a good amount of money, because 800% is nothing to, nothing to scoff at. 800% is a good return. It's a fantastic return. It's beyond anything that most people could ever dream of, right? So Rocket Labs doing this type of move, I mean, like I said, let me know if you guys are invested in the comments down below. Let me know if you're an investor or have been. Let me know if you have recently joined the hype train. Did you just buy Rocket Labs at the absolute peak? And please don't say that you did so after watching this video, because this is far from any kind of recommendation, right? And I am, I used to work in the financial services industry. I have my finance degree, but not your financial advisor. So please, please do your own research. Make sure you're looking into things. But with that being said, if you just look at the technicals alone without even understanding anything about the company, Rocket Labs, as the name implies, is all about spaceships. So that's the basic overview of the company. You can think about a rocket company building rockets, basically. But Rocket Labs just had news, and apparently their earnings were positive, right? So they had, and when I say positive, I've not looked into the specific details, but I saw the news that just came out talking about that. And so that could mean, like, yeah, they have positive earnings, or it could actually mean from the headline, perhaps, that they were just good earnings. But that's what I saw. I'll try to leave the link down below. And like I said, I'm just finding out about this, and I'm using this as an example in this video for the types of opportunities that are out there, the way that you can potentially, benefit your own portfolio by catching these opportunities early. Because let's be honest, if you're buying Rocket Labs right now, you're kind of the sucker. I mean, and when I say, if leaving the comments, if you're buying this stock, I am curious because I want to know who the suckers are out there. I mean, you just bought a stock that went up 800%. You don't think there's people who bought in early and are going to be dumping on you? And not just retail investors, but we're talking institutional, on the NASDAQ especially, and these major exchanges. But you cannot tell me that there's not going to be people dumping on your head after an 800% run, right? And maybe it goes up 8,000%. But the point is, watch out for Rocket Labs. These are the types of moves that investors dream of. And it's an example of the potential. And another example is Palantir, right? We have Palantir that was under $6 a share. I do remember talking about it on the channel back in 2022 and mentioning it when it was well under, $20 a share. But ultimately, it's just the risk you have to be willing to take, because now that's turned into a 10-bagger. Of course, you have NVIDIA, and all these big tech companies have done so well, and people haven't become millionaires, and you can become a millionaire too, right? I'm not a millionaire. I have been on paper in the past, and then I had to, learn a hard lesson and had a major reset, but you can do it again. And that's the beauty of, living in the United States, but also the fact that you're a stock market investor. A lot of people aren't even invested in the market. And so you're one of the people out there who's actually taking the risk. And so you have a much better chance of striking gold, as they say, in the stock market than most people. Because if, let's say, 30 or 40% don't even have a 401k, as they say, or some crazy percent of Americans don't even have like a basic retirement savings, if that's the case, then it would stand to reason that you're already in that top percentile right there. And then you're already putting yourself out there by investing on a monthly basis, like I've recommended. You know, $300, $500, whatever it is you can afford. I personally do just like $300 plus the match. It's like $400 or $500 a month into a 401k, right? But that money is going to be there for retirement long term. So that's the idea, is you want to max out your retirement accounts, or try to. I'm not even maxed out, but put it into assets. And then if you do end up getting a good return on those assets, that can set you up tremendously in the future. That's the point. Even if it's not a 7-figure profit, let's say it turns a 5-figure into a 6-figure. If you do get an 800% return, like with Rocket Labs, as we've seen, take the money and run, right? And that's the other point, is if you were able to get in early, let me know in the comments down below if you were one of the people who got in early to Rocket Labs, and if you are planning on selling soon, or if you've already taken profits. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you guys are doing in the comments down below. RKLB, once again, is the ticker symbol. But if that's you, and if you were somebody who was able to buy this stock early, now you have a choice to make. Can you sell half? Sure. Is that the best choice in my opinion? No. I personally like to sell most, if not all, 75% right off the bat, you know, because I want to liquidate the position and move on to something else. I'm already, you know, if I've made that much money on a trade, 600 or 800%, let's take the money, especially if I put in 10,000 and now I have close to $100,000 from almost a 10,000, you know, 10x move or whatever. I want to take that and put it somewhere else, maybe into dividend stocks, somewhere more conservative. And I have another channel all about dividend stocks, The Cash Flow Investor. Check that out if you're interested. But I actually film at the same park I do for that one as well. But yeah, you know, it's all about repositioning your capital. So take those, if you want to call them a small win, you know, turning a, let's say a 5,000 into 50,000, or, you know, a 10 bagger type return. If you're able to get something like that and you're an early investor, like the people into Rocket Labs, think about where you're going to reinvest that. Have a plan, right? Don't just sit on the money and, you know, hope for the best and think, well, you know, maybe it'll go up more, maybe I'll just keep invested. Like, no, you have to be ready to cut and run, you know. And that's the next point. That's the final point. I know I talked about like selling and stuff and taking profits, but really, like, you have to be ready to walk away and run away even. Like, you have to be willing to run away so fast that, yeah, you know, you might be married to the stock now, everything's great, you're in the honeymoon phase, like, yeah, this is going to be the millionaire maker, you know, I'm going to be you know, living large here soon. But then reality hits and the stock does not do as you expected, and sure enough, you thought you were in this wonderful marriage, and now you want to file for divorce, right? So you got to run out of that marriage, which is the stock, right? And I know it's a, you know, kind of a weird analogy, right? Comparing us being married to a stock, but some people do, in fact, marry stocks. It happens. And I've made this mistake too, where you get so caught up in a thesis or in an investment that you are right. And that's the other thing is pride, especially for us guys. We have to watch the ego, because with risk-taking behavior, we enjoy taking risk, us men especially. And I think like 90% of you guys are men out there. I know the women, you know, you guys probably, some of you guys like to take risk as well, and that's probably the remaining 10% of my audience. But if you're looking at us guys and wanting to take risk, we can often take risks to the point of, hey, let's roll the dice, and, you know, whatever happens, it's going to be on black or red or whatever it is, you know, the craps table, like, we're all in. So we have to be careful. And even if we do get that big return, even if it is 90% of our portfolio and we've made a 6-figure, multiple, you know, even a 7-figure profit, we have to be willing to cut and run, divorce that stock, get out. I don't care how much you love that company, how much, if you're up 2,000 or 3,000%, if that's when it gets really extreme, because that can be, you know, zip code, life-changing money where you might be able to really set yourself up long-term. You better cut and run, you know, cut and run, get the hell out of there as fast as you can. And like I said, I've made this mistake, so I'm teaching you guys, because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I have, right? So when you see a stock, like we just talked about in this video, check it out, Rocket Labs, guys, RKLB. I want to hear your thoughts about this one. because it's just a quick Google search away, or whatever you want to call it, AI search these days. Who knows what it is now? But I hope you guys enjoy this human video, not an AI created video. If you guys like walks in the park like this while I'm making these videos, let me know. I'll make another one. If not, let me know also. Hope you all are doing well out there on this beautiful Friday. Markets are open. Stay classy out there. Stay cool. It's starting to get pretty hot out here in the Midwest, at least. And have a great weekend.